The VC Project.
Justin, you're in the office today, huh?
Yeah, dude, they promote you and they expect you to come in and do shit, apparently. So it is what it is.
Well, that'll happen.
Yeah.
I can't believe we actually all got a time together.
Kinda.
Really, it was Luke's problem, not ours.
And the fact that it's 12:34 and I thought this was going to be like a 12:58 start with all of us.
Well,
pretty good.
It's kind of already started, right? I mean, Chuck's at a Home Depot currently, so I mean,
I am at Home Depot.
Chuck was not the one I was worried about.
well, who are you worried about?
Yeah, Pat.
Yeah, Pat.
I completely
Finish
missed
that sentence, Pat.
I had a call come in. I pressed ignore.
Oh, okay. So we are finally got the Wolfpack together for the VC project, which is awesome. We get to have our Infocomm special edition is what we're going to call this, which is going to be our promotion for AV Roki, since Luke has done very minimal marketing for this year, which
it markets itself.
It does it though. We've changed venues. Changed venues this year, so I don't know if it's really going to market itself. You think it will? You think we're going to get the same turnout we get every year? I hope so.
I don't know. I think it'll be all right.
The Joe Way is promoting it for me, so I really don't have to.
The Joe Way. We had to give Joe props. He hasn't been kicked out of this place yet, so he will be able to promote.
Asterisk yet.
The year is young.
Yeah, what's the over-under on how many minutes he'll be in the room?
I started the pool. It's on the side. I'll text you later.
Yeah, send us the link because I'm in for that for sure.
Jeremy, can we divulge
my
vision for AV Roki going forward?
Sure, go ahead.
I thought with Vegas prices soaring, why not just get the sickest suite you can find on the strip, which would probably be similar costs, and run it up there. Run our own party.
Well, here's the problem. When it comes to suites and parties we happen to go to in suites in Vegas and Orlando, the pool shifts from how fast Joe Way will get thrown out of the venue to how fast they call security to break it up. That's usually where we wind up.
There was one year, I want to say it was 2018, I showed up at the same time security did. I didn't even have a chance to go to the party.
Do you remember my selfie in the hallway? As security was throwing us out.
Yeah, you met Jeremy in the hallway. Yeah.
My anxiety was going through the roof when I was at my first one 2 years ago. I was like, how in the world are they going to cover this tab? Like, it was just a constant flood of people line out the door.
People pay their bills. It's fine.
Well, not just that. A lot of people buy rounds. I mean, one year I was really surprised. One year Gary Kay bought like a round of appetizers for the entire bar.
That's pretty sweet.
And like 20 trays of apps came out, like big ones. I was like,
he is on the invite list this year. Right?
That was the year when they freaked out. They were like, "What the hell are you doing here? What is this shit?"
Yeah. That was one of the years that they were really salty. Really.
So for anybody listening, we didn't tell them. This year it's at the Cat's Meow, right? Which is
new venue,
Las Vegas. New venue. It is not at Ellis Island because they can't hold the capacity of people that we have. The Cat's Meow is located where? I don't remember exactly.
It's in
Fremont
Vegas.
Street.
It's in Vegas.
Well, I know that much. Thank you, Justin. So, come. Everyone's welcome. There's a Facebook group. Get on the invite list. Get there. It's going to be a good time. We're inviting you all now. I'm really excited about it this year. I think it's going to be a great turnout. It's going to be a great venue. I do like the idea, Pat, of getting a whale villa or something like that, but we need to see. There's something, I don't know, there's something about it being in a divey karaoke bar too.
There's also something about the 38th floor in the Bellagio, so just keep that in the back of your head.
Man, Pat living large, man. I'm sitting here thinking, man, seriously, already?
I will buy a drink. Money. I will buy a drink for the first person who can say the word meow 10 times while singing karaoke.
It's easy. You just got to do the Meow Mix song. Meow, 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 meow.
I
Drink.
would not doubt
One
if
drink.
actually
See,
did
I'm
that.
thinking more like, Fat Boy Slim right about meow. Just
Yeah.
working it in smoothly.
Or
Yeah,
the cat
that's-
game. It's the
that'd be
Super
10, yeah.
Troopers cat game.
I
That's
like
what
it.
it's all
Yeah,
about.
totally.
man.
Totally.
Only said
Although-
it's mine.
Since Pat's trying to spend that New York Yankees money, make him buy the drinks. He's already trying to throw out that 30
Yeah,
fourth
you know
Bellagio, man.
you know where he gets away with this? He's not coming Infocom this year.
Why do you think I have all
What?
these big ideas, Justin?
What?
Yeah.
It's
Why are
like you guys should
fighting
have
now?
it on a plane. You should rent a plane and have it on a plane.
Now we're
Where's Pat?
now we're
I can't
cooking.
make it.
Now
Pat's sick.
we-
I can't go.
This is how it evolves.
See, he's like Luke. He's the idea guy, and then just doesn't do anything. You know, it's totally.
Aw. Ouch. I think
I was
that
telling Gary Pearl the story about Pat's first AV Roki and how he thought that Pearl was gonna, like, the Pearl credit card was gonna pick up
Oh,
the
yeah.
entire
Yeah.
bar tab.
Because Vegas drinks are like $22 a pop. It's not cheap
Yeah.
drinking.
And what's
For
And
400
Pat-
people, that's a lot.
and Pat, just so you know, Jeremy told us ahead of time, and all of us saying you're picking up the tab was totally orchestrated by him. We made that night just for you. In all fairness.
I had to peace out about 10:45. I'm like, I can't take this anymore. I just kept looking at the bartenders and doing the math in my head. I'm like, I got to get the heck out of here.
So have anybody been to the Cat's Meow? Just Chuck kind of had. We got a
Well,
buddy that was there, right?
So Mike, Mike, who owns Cavlo, lives in Vegas, and we were talking about it at the Cavlo show. We were having dinner and drinks afterward, and Mike and I are sitting there talking. And I'm like, I just don't know what the place is like. He goes, dude, I live in Vegas. I'd be more than happy. So I hit him up. And I'm like, hey, man, check it out. So he went and checked it out. And he sent me some pictures. He said it holds, so many people, more than Ellis Island. And he said the place is all right. It has a good view. Drinks are good. They get a decent system. He said it should be a decent place. So I trust Mike. I mean, he knows how to throw an event. So
We
Should be all right.
actually had a bid interview for a project coming up in Dallas, and they had one of the questions on the bid interview was, how do you guys stay up to date on technology? And I said, good relationships with vendors, but also, trade shows. Are any of you guys going to Infocomm? And one of the guys raised his hand. So I got his card. I've already invited him, sent him the Facebook link to AV Roki. Also, if y'all do record any blackmail, you guys have my email address. That is also important. But so the general contractor actually asked me where karaoke was at, and I said Cat's Meow in Vegas. And he just kind of chuckles and says, "It's going to be a good time." So,
All right.
Oh, there you go. All right.
and there
All
was
right.
like architects, and like the client was in the room, so I left it at that.
There
But
we go.
I think it's going to be okay.
All right.
And there's a chain of them. I think there's one in New Orleans. I've heard that overall it's a good time.
I didn't realize that was a chain. We did not go when we were in New Orleans, Luke. We didn't see anything like that.
You guys could have that in a back alley somewhere. It's the people that make the event. The venue doesn't
We did.
matter.
The past couple of years in Vegas.
Oh, look at that, dude.
The
That's-
past couple of years in Vegas, it's been in a back alley.
It's the
True.
people that make it, says the guy that's not going.
But say,
I have good excuses.
but that's true. That's true salesmanship, though, man. He reached in and brought it back around, dude.
The only
Like
thing I
off ramp that
remember,
thing.
the only thing I remember in New Orleans is going to like every restaurant and celebrating Jeremy's birthday.
Oh, I forgot about that. You guys made it my birthday every single place we went.
I
Do
got
you-
like
were you-
15. I got like 15 pictures from
Were you
y'all for
there?
Jeremy's birthdays.
Were you there? Were you at the restaurant we went to? I think Gina was there, and it was the big cotton candy with like candles in it. It was like this big cotton candy appetizer dessert thing. It was. I've never had anything like it. It was awesome, and we had to pay for it because it was my birthday. Apparently,
You strike me as a guy that would love those hurricanes down there too. That seems like it's the sugary sweet drinks just right up
I've
your
seen,
alley.
Yeah.
can confirm, I've seen him drink a hurricane
Yeah.
on the strip in Vegas.
I forgot about that night.
I have pictures, Pat. You want some blackmail? You know.
Pat, I'm not going to tell it right now, but there is a story about that, which is not going out to the public. I will tell you that right now. That cannot go out to the public.
Hurricanes
highest bid-
can get the best of people.
Highest bidder,
Oh.
maybe, but not to the public. Highest bidder.
Oh,
So,
that night. That was who was with us? Chris was
it
with
was,
us.
it was me. It was me, Montfort, you,
Monfort.
and that was
three
it.
of us.
Because
It was just the three.
yeah,
of
just
us.
us three. Yeah.
We were at
We were
Where were
we were at Raw Sushi in Vegas before
Yeah.
in Orlando before it
Yeah,
shut
that's
down.
what it was. No. This was in this
Oh,
was
that's
in
what I'm saying.
Vegas.
Yeah, it was
This
that
was in
sushi joint in Vegas we went
because
to.
we were
Yeah,
not far from the fashion mall up there. So
yeah. And then we walked the
that
strip. They had
was a night.
daiquiris. They had hurricanes and daiquiris from a dispenser on the side of the strip, so you could just knock one down. Yeah,
That place
like I
will
said,
test
highest
your
bidder.
discipline. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited. So when is everybody getting there? When's everybody getting Infocomm this year? Besides
I
Pat,
get there, I get there
Justin's
Thursday
first,
at 9
right?
o'clock in the morning.
you're getting there early. Are you teaching? You're teaching with Rexing again this year?
Yeah, I'm teaching with Rexing, but since Stacy works there, we're going on her travel schedule. So, and to make matters worse, Southwest has been canceling flights to, make them more profitable. And so my usual 11 a.m. flight, get me there by lunch, out of Austin Bergstrom, was replaced with an 8 a.m. flight,
Yeah.
get me there at 9:30 in the morning. Yeah, no, I'm not.
Chuck is
Not having it.
Sunday. Luke, when are you getting
Yeah.
out?
Tuesday afternoon.
Tuesday afternoon for me too. I think I'm getting out like 3. I'm going straight to dinner.
And then Pat's. Oh, that's right. Pat's not good.
I wish.
And then straight to AV
Lame.
Roki after that. This is going to
Lame.
be crazy for me. It's the first year in like over a decade I'm not teaching the 3-day
Yeah.
classes before. So I don't have to be there for a week and a half. I'm literally coming out Tuesday, and then staying the few days for the show. Like it's going to be awesome. I'm
Yeah, I
actually
don't
kinda
think
excited
I've
about that.
I don't think I've been out on later than Thursday since like 2010. So this is going to be weird.
Are you doing the tech managers? Is that what you're teaching, Justin? Again?
Yeah, managing AV spaces and people, or things were called. I forget. They changed the name like
Staff
Hey,
and spaces.
Do you know
There
what
it
you're
is.
teaching?
Staff and spaces. I just
You're
helped
doing
write it. I'm not
Rexing.
sure what hell's going on. Yeah, the flying Justins are teaching this year.
Yeah. Well, Rexing in Vegas, he's always a trip. That's for sure.
He's
And
a trip in general.
he's a trip.
Rexing and I have a good time.
We got any
in
hot
class.
tips on any new products that are going to be debuting we're excited about? Anybody got anything?
Yeah, Chuck,
Just
what's
like
coming from Aurora?
It's like just got sales guy.
Oh yeah.
Make this thing actually doable.
So we do have a new product coming out that we're debuting. It's our 4-inch touch panel. We got our little 4D, but we have the new 4D
Right up
has
size. That's perfect.
we have a new 4D with the speaker built in, so it's going to have, it's got a beamforming mic, so it's Dante beamforming mic, and then a beamforming speaker, so you can use it as your like delegate system mic speaker all built into your touch panel. And now the one we're debuting has a input on the side for your computer, so that's going to be your VPX AV over IP. So it's like an all-in-one. You have your video, touch panel, audio, loudspeaker, and then the thing we're doing is called the React Room, where you put a bunch of these around the table, all of the speakers and microphones, you do mix minus systems, so that's your whole sound system. And then we have a little subwoofer, a PoE Dante subwoofer that goes under the table, fills out the room nice. All of them have video inputs and power inputs and everything, so it's kind of like an all-in-one little room. So that's our new thing.
What's the biggest size room you're going to be able to deploy that in? You think?
As many PoE ports as you have. And that's the beauty of AV over
Really?
IP is, if you have a 96 port switch, you can put 90 of these on a big gigantic table or in a big
you broke up there. I
courtroom.
thought you were talking about the one you had with the mic beam and the speaker all in one. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, so it's a little 4-inch touch panel. It's got a microphone and loudspeaker built in. So it's a little 4-inch touch panel. Takes a PoE, and that's your video in, that's your audio in, that's your audio out. And you just send it up to a display. Yeah.
I don't know what the big buzzwords and stuff are going to be this year at Infocomm.
$20. AI is one of them.
Well, okay, that's an obvious one, I think. And Joe Pham is doing the keynote specifically around that for Infocomm,
Yeah.
so that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the new robot coming out? The Optimus?
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it the one that was in at ISE at that project or that TV mount?
No,
No,
no.
no. This is the Tesla one. This is
It's
Elon's.
the new
Oh.
Tesla robot, and it's a full like life-size humanoid robot that actually has like sensory touch. But the big thing is like right now these things are coming out for like 25 grand, and somebody said this is going to be the last robot-free summer. And so the robot mixed with the newest AI built in, this thing's going to like do your gardening and wash your dishes and stuff. Like it's going to be
No way.
a few more years, everybody's going to have a robot in their house doing all their shit. And this thing like cracks eggs. It'll pick up an egg and like crack it and like make an omelet.
This is that Will Smith movie thing, man. Whatever movie that was. I don't know what that was
I don't
called.
think
I
that
Am
guy.
Robot.
I don't think that
I Am Robot.
that robot can live
I,
in my
Robot.
house. There's no way.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Uh,
so
It's-
I will say, just at a high level, you know,
Coming from the guy who
Hey.
makes the chips in these things.
hey, Elon makes his own chips, bro. We don't supply those. That I don't think
All
we
right.
do. But just, I mean, looking at it at a high level, you know, I feel like from an AI perspective, when we first started talking about AI years ago, I mean, y'all remember the whole AI discussions previously, where it really wasn't AI; it was a bunch of macros that were running in the background that were sort of intelligent that would actually do things. It feels like we've got out of the AI is a solution looking for a problem to where we're actually trying to solve problems with AI, right? There's a huge shift that has occurred between then and there. And I hope from an industry perspective, it's something that we can latch onto because there really are some things that AI can solve for us in our industry. Um, the robot would be huge, right? If we could have
Sure.
that kind of functionality, not just at home, think about it in the workplace though, right? I mean, you're talking about force augmentation when it comes to doing things like site surveys or low-level installation work that doesn't require a lot of, you know, high band throughput. You could turn something like that loose in a finished state. I'm not saying right now. You could turn something like that loose in a finished state and have them do more of that laborious turnaround tasks like answering phones or putting them on mute so you're not disturbed during a call, and being able to you know, really lean in and fix some problems. So we've really turned the corner on a lot of this stuff. I really am interested to see how it goes. You know, again, next couple of years, what it turns into.
So if this AI
It-
robot's doing my site surveys, you're telling me the AI robot's coming for my sales job too?
So
I don't want, hey Pat, I don't want to burst your bubble, Pat, but everyone's coming for your job.
Elon's
just
been
to be
warning
fair.
us about this.
you know, I
Yep.
think it really depends on what perspective you're looking at AI. You know, you know, entry level jobs will always be at risk. Again, you've got the self serve kiosk, so instead of having to go talk to someone to place your order, again, you just dial it up yourself, order from the app. You know, those entry level jobs are always going to be at risk. But if you're looking at AI, instead of like, who will this replace? How will this aid the people that are doing the work as a tool? It changes the game incredibly. My first experience with AI, I've got bedtime stories I tell my kid, and we've created this character. There's like this canon background, all that stuff, and then I just ran out of ideas. My kid's asking for more stuff, so I go into Chat GPT and I'm like, this is the character, this is what he does, this is like how he operates, and I just like spent like 5 minutes just like inputting like all this information about like this bedtime story. And then I just asked my kid, what's the name of tonight's bedtime story? And so I'll just say, tell me the story, and it will just produce a 5 minute bedtime story in like 60 seconds or less that is just totally accurate. And so it's still my concepts, my ideas. I'm still driving the direction, but it is creating a lot within that. So that's a tool. It is not replacing bedtime, but it is aiding it.
So, supplementary to that, I just read a very interesting article last night talking about AI and how AI is not really going to replace your job, but what it's going to do is it's going to you will be replaced by someone who understands how to use AI as a tool to make them a better employee. That's who's
Well,
going to be, you know,
right now,
excelling.
well, if you haven't started looking, I mean, I think I use AI probably 4 out of 5 days a week, just in my job, writing classes and doing research for different technologies. And when I'm writing classes for my webinars, if I'm researching on a topic, it's like I was researching on different sections of EDID before my last EDID class, and I wanted, hey, AI, I need to know about this section of EDID. And so I asked it just like Google, and then we went down a rabbit hole. And then I said, okay, based on what we just talked about, I need a lesson plan for this, that, and the other thing with 3 terminal learning objectives. And now I learned how to talk to the AI by looking at YouTubes on how to talk to AI. And once you get really comfortable with it, it is an actual skill. Like I can ask it a question and it gives me a crap answer if I ask a crap question. But if you ask a good question, it gives you really good answers. And like Luke said, you give it the parameters that you need. You tell it exactly what you need, and it does some great things. And, I do see it taking over some jobs. Like we have AI in our our programming software, our configuration, and people just started doing things like, hey, I want to parse data from HDMI1 to use it this thing. And it'll spit you out a code, a JavaScript code to parse the data. But you can take this further to say, how can I more efficiently insert this code or create this code? And instead of having 400 lines of code, you can get the code down to like 200 lines of code. It makes your processing faster. It makes all your commands quicker when it doesn't have to go through so much stuff. And if the computer can take out all the little inefficiencies there, if the AI can take out the inefficiencies, you just have to be smart enough to ask it the right question.
Well, and look at it this way, right? So we're talking about this from a delivery standpoint. The other day I was goofing around and I asked ChatGPT if it could write me restaurant code, and it can. It could also write Lua for QSC. But to that point, it'll only write it to where within the parameters you give it. So again, garbage in, garbage out. You got to learn how to talk to it, put the data in, and it spits something out. There is still a manual intervention process, though, for someone to go through and do the tweaks and put everything together, right?
I'm interested in the result of that, though. Even if you were really, really well.
I'm going to say, you want to see the result? Come to my house. The Core 110 that runs my house is running on code that I asked ChatGPT to run it, and I just tweaked it to see what would happen.
All right.
And I think that human element of checking the boxes
Lua?
is always going to be there. You look no further than talk to type. We could write a page. You could talk to type a page. Somebody still has to proofread that. Somebody's still proofreading this ChatGPT stuff. Like, it's not foolproof.
And then to the point, though, that's exactly what we're proving today, is that the next round of roles in this space are going to be the folks who can more efficiently interact with the AI tools to provide efficient results.
Yeah,
right?
saving time is where it's at. What we've started doing as a company is I've partnered with a private AI group, just from the standpoint of anything you put on OpenAI is out there. But so we've created a helper, an AI helper, to where I'll have a sales meeting with a client. It's this type of project. They want this, this, and this. They want this kind of quality. And so it will create a design proposal using all of our formatting in just 2 minutes. That probably used to take a full day. And where I want to go next is I want to, because I've fed this thing probably 24 design proposals that we've written over the years. And so it knows how we write, what our voice is, how we word things. And so I'll just give it bullet point notes and it'll spit it out really fast. The next thing we want to do is I want to take historical information on, contemporary worship spaces. How much are they spending on audio, video, and lighting? And then categorize those into different quality tiers. And this is going to take your job, Pat. And so then I meet with a client and, their budget is $500,000. What tiers can they fit into that? Or they tell us what we want, and it will just give us estimates based off of historical information and write that design proposal and set a budget for a client. So work that would have taken me 3 to 4 days can get done in like 10 minutes.
Wow.
What's funny? Where we are now is really funny. Anyone, I know Pat has kids. Jeremy, you've probably seen this movie. There's a movie out there called Boss Baby that came out a while back.
Oh, yeah.
And in the movie, there's a point where one of the characters has a special song that he's been sung his entire life, and it's Blackbird by the Beatles. And the child, the eldest child, is growing up, is doing his own thing. had never really realized that it was sung by the Beatles, right? Yet the little kid, the baby, knows it's sung by the Beatles, has a lot more recognition around that and everything. It's kind of the same discussion we're having here, right? We're talking about, again, to Luke's point, he has commoditized bedtime stories and has farmed it out to his helper AI person to do these things for him now, and efficiently. I'm not trying to knock that. Luke, you are being lazy, but still, it is there. But you have that, you're moving that
Lazy
forward.
people
and
have the best ways to get things done.
the next, well, again, E4 Mafia, that's all I'm going to say about that one. But taking a step back, I mean, now the next generation behind us are the ones who are going to help us drive this. It's the same scenario, right? We're just scratching the surface on this, and we think we're doing the work, right? This is the lift. This is the cool thing. I'm waiting to see what happens with the people behind us who are picking this up to help us move this stuff forward. That's what excites me the most.
So that scares the
someone's going to do
crap out of
something.
me.
Yeah, me too.
Well,
You seen this
I mean,
generation?
I have to.
No,
Dude,
no,
it's the weight of the computer. And so here's the thing is like, we're looking at it from the point of we want to be productive and helpful and and be a positive impact on society and all the other things. But you got to remember there's a-holes out there. And that's what really scares me is like we have these incredible tools to be able to do things like entertain our kids at bedtime, write code, and be more efficient at our jobs and all this happy goodness. But there's just like everything, like the computer's a great thing until you get these people hacking your bank accounts and like child predators online. Like a lockpick kit is a wonderful thing if somebody gets locked out or breaks a key, but 100 different people a day use these things to break into houses. Like the tool is a good tool until you add the human. The hardware's great, the software's great, it's the meatware. And this is what really scares the crap out of me is like when AI starts to get really good and the tool is like so amazing that like people start using it for nefarious reasons. Like I want to cut it at that point. Like
Yeah, you got fathers out there who don't want to read to their kids anymore using it.
All right, so for those playing the home, for those playing the home game, that's Pat with the 2-pointer in the bucket. That's super Pat.
and he's not a basketball guy, so
I know, right? That's why I said it.
No, but at the same time, that's going to create new jobs, new companies, new things that didn't exist. So again, your insurance companies are going to start covering your name, image, and likeness. If that gets ransom, if that gets faked, so now you're probably going to start getting insurance companies to cover that. You're going to have these kids who are using AI to fight people doing bad things with AI. The police and FBI and all these people who are going after those child predators are also going to be using those tools and probably catfishing them and getting them to take the bait and put them in prison. So again, it's not as one-sided as that. Bad people have always been around.
Yeah.
It's a tool, and it's the better the tools get on both sides of the aisle, right? You get, like you said, people solving crimes with AI and doing really good things with it. People being able to work more efficiency, but as much good as there's always a yin and yang in everything. Like the better it gets as a tool to help us out, the better it gets as a tool to like hurt us. And then I start going back. I mean, I think I'm the oldest one here, and I start thinking about when I was a kid watching the Terminator and like Skynet. Like it's still in the back of my mind, that Optimus robot and like just hey, the Optimus robot one day is cleaning all my guns, and all of a sudden it's like, you shouldn't have these guns. Chuck's a threat, and like then I'm done. And there's Optimus with all my guns.
Well, that could happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeremy, what are
at some level, what are you going to do about it?
I don't know. I think
Jeremy's going with the subject line of this podcast.
What we're all
going to be
talking about?
He doesn't even know.
The subject line, and this is a common thread for our friendship, is we're all going to die eventually. Act accordingly.
Well, that is a good title for the podcast. All I wanted to know is if Luke was going to sing "Hit Me, Baby, One More Time" again, and
No,
I don't
no.
think
AI,
I'm going to be
so-
able to top that. I had to be
No, that
carried
was-
back onto the stage by the security.
That was
You
that
almost
was pretty
ate
epic.
it.
Dude, if your foot
Almost
would've-
is
if
a
your
great
foot
You
way
were
to
would've
go.
been
like
1 inch
you,
lower,
yeah,
you would
far.
have face planted onto that marble floor, and it would have hurt.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I
And Pat-
really don't know how I'm going to top that. So I'm probably just going to do country music.
Pat, just so you know, this is how all of our conversations go. You're literally just experiencing what we do on a regular basis.
It's the
when we talk
best.
Yeah, listen, there was zero preparation for this podcast. Now,
Luke.
previous podcasts, I've done a little bit of preparation. This one I did zero. So
I'm gonna, Luke. I feel like Josh Turner. You got that low voice. You could sing any Josh Turner song on karaoke and
Oh,
just
dude,
kill
hey,
it.
Pat, he could do.
I
Pat, he could.
don't
He,
have
he,
a
he
low
could do.
voice.
He could do.
I
Luke,
don't know what you're
Pat,
talking about.
he could do Luke Bryan all day long. Trust us, we've heard it. We've seen it. It's the man himself.
I like it.
He's even got them bedazzled.
There's a
jeans
reason
that
why I
Bryan
don't send
wears.
you guys tickets.
Y'all
well,
heard it
boys,
here
we're coming
first.
up on a half hour. I know we all got to get back to work at some point today, so I appreciate you all coming on and taking time out of your busy day, Luke. What do you got going on today? Are you just playing Scrabble or something there, or what do you do at your office with
Yahtzee.
AI?
Oh, it's complicated.
I actually do play Yahtzee on my phone. Yahtzee and Monopoly are my 2 phone games.
Oh my god. And I felt bad driving and like listening to TikTok.
The fact that, listen, if Chuck ever dies, it's going to be a car accident because he was TikToking while he's driving to some random state.
No, because he's going to get AI to drive his car so he can TikTok.
It already exists.
Oh,
That's
no.
already in there. The
Again,
self-driving stuff
We've
is
had
there.
conversations about BNCO buying a company car that did that, and the answer was no. He won't let me do it.
But Chuck doesn't want to give up his Hummer. I think you guys remember the club, right? It would lock out your steering wheel. They're just going to come up with driving clubs. Just add this to your steering wheel, and it'll just drive it.
No, dude, they have.
Good idea.
Apple bought an actual company back in 2019, 20. I forget what it was.
As
They
opposed
bought
to a
company
fake company.
that actually they did drop in EV kits for cars.
I don't want EV.
I don't-
I don't
want EV. I just
Well,
want it to drive
sorry.
itself.
Drop in AV, autonomous vehicle kits. Sorry, apologize.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Like I want
It was-
to burn dead dinosaurs, but not actually steer.
Okay, so my dead dinosaurs are way more efficient than EVs right now. I get 47 miles to the gallon. Like, I'm sorry, my diesel is still more efficient because guess what? What are you charging your EV with? Dead dinosaurs.
No, it's electricity, Chuck.
32 minutes in and one AV topic that we covered for maybe 25 seconds. This is not an AV
The
podcast.
whole thing was about
This-
an AV podcast.
No,
What are
it
you talking
wasn't.
We talked about karaoke. That is an
We were
AV
talking
trait
about
That
we
is
were
AV.
talking about proposal generation using AI. We were talking about
we talked about
the buzzwords
the
at
4-inch touch
Infocomm.
panel with beamforming microphones. Can you please be
That was
serious
all we
for one
covered.
minute, Pat?
Pat, just because you're not going to the show doesn't mean you get to talk crap, man. Come on, back it up.
But
I
you
wish
might not
I
get
would've.
invited next year if you act like this, Pat.
Before we go, that
I
was
know,
one of the
right?
questions.
To
Before
be
we
fair,
go,
Pat's name is in the podcast.
hey,
Yeah, and he might be hosting remotely for a long time.
one by one,
Oh,
Orlando or Vegas, and why?
Pat,
Go.
Do
Each
do
one
I
of
do
you.
I have to take my autographed Pat Venditte off my desk because you're being a chotch? Let me
Hey,
know.
If you wanted a cup of coffee, you could go trade that in for that right now.
I want the
It's still,
bobblehead.
it's still owe money on the coffee. Trust me, you still owe money on that one. So.
He's not
Um,
wrong.
I'm gonna say so. Personal preference, being a ginger, and I have some huge interest. Pat, I'm serious. So I was actually having a legit discussion, and the whole Venditte rule came up, and I was like, "Yeah, I know that guy." I'm like, "No, you don't." And I'm like, "Dude," and I showed him.
He
I have
texted me
text
and
message.
tell me about it. It's funny.
I have text messages and everything, and like I'm now a local celebrity among these people at work who actually know who you are. Now,
Oh
granted,
man,
that's like two
those are some
people in a
sad
city of like
individuals.
1.3 million.
There you go.
So
Justin, screenshot it right now. You can bring it over there and be like, "Guess who I was just on a podcast with, talking about
hold on.
AI."
That's a great idea. Hold on a second. Hold your traffic. Hold on, Pat. Smile, Pat. I gotta
Command
get this one
Command
clipped.
Shift 4.
We were talking about how AI is
Screenshot it
going to
old
take
school.
over karaoke.
Get the old-fashioned way.
Orlando, back on track. Orlando or Vegas, and why?
So,
Luke, go.
okay, Luke, you start. Millennial, go.
I'm going to go with Vegas. My biggest problem with Orlando is there's nothing to do because you're in that little convention center, little circle, and there's literally just that one section that's got like the ice house and the like everything's in that one little spot, and there's nothing to do. Whereas Vegas, there's a bajillion places to go. So every manufacturer, every organization, everyone is doing something. I mean, you'll have to drive. My Uber charges are like triple in Vegas
They all go to the
because
same
I'm
spots,
just
though.
hopping around all night.
But they all go to the same spots,
Do
though.
what?
Yeah.
They all go to the same spots. Everyone goes to the same places
Yeah, they
in
do.
Vegas
It's-
to do stuff with.
It's not as
We've
experimental.
instituted a monorail only for Jeremy this year, so he's only allowed to ride the monorail, and then he has to walk wherever he's going.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
gonna be
but
great.
you're saving
Too
the
many
cost
drivers
of
to
you
crash
not
the
going.
vans.
So
All right, Jeremy, where's your pick?
My pick. I'm gonna say Vegas because I hate humidity. That's my reasoning for it. I think there's stuff to do anywhere we go. We always have fun no matter where we're at. Whether
yeah, but we
convention
didn't meet,
wise,
we did not meet Paul Stanley in Orlando, but we met Paul Stanley in Vegas.
I get it, and I'm still saying Vegas because I like the dry heat. I hate the humidity. But my only reasoning is weather, even though we're barely outside ever, because we are always either in a cab or in some kind of a building. But either way is good with me. But I'm going to say Vegas.
All right, Chuck.
I don't like either one.
There he is.
Straight up. Like, okay, so opposite from Luke, I think Orlando's better because you got like SeaWorld and there's a bunch of other places where you actually get out of there. And if you want to do business, everybody's right there to do business with. So yeah, there's kind of like this small thing, but you get a lot of business done. Everybody hangs out at the Rosen. And if you want to actually get out and like go to like SeaWorld or Universal Studios, there's all that stuff. Vegas, I feel it's too spread apart, but there is a lot to do. And you don't see everyone you get to want to see at night. You know, you don't see everybody there because it's not at like all in a small area. So Vegas is really spread out. Orlando, it's tight together, but when it does spread out, it's in the SeaWorld area. So I don't like the heat. I don't like heat at all. So I don't like both of them.
So going with that, so the Rosen's kind of the place to go if you have nothing out. At the end of the night, all your stuff is done, but you're not ready to go to bed. You go to the Rosen. Is that the Westgate? Where is that?
That's the Westgate.
Yeah, that's the
Vegas.
Westgate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So
So
while you
I'll
stay
see
at
you
those two
guys
places.
there at 4 a.m.
my turn. I am going to be the eternal optimist and say I like both. And here's why. One, Vegas is Vegas. Now, the only downside to me for Vegas is I've learned that I have like a 3 or 4 day limit in Las Vegas. That is visual stimuli, that is being around smokers all my life kind of thing. After about 3 or 4 days, I'm ready to go sit in a dark room with headphones on and listen to, the Beatles or whatever, right? Something to tune everything out. However, on the flip side, I mean, it's Vegas. There's stuff to do. Now, granted, everyone kind of does the same thing because everyone goes to all the same places, but largely there is kind of an event space. Orlando, I like, one, because I usually wind up bringing the family to go to Disney after Infocomm, so that's fun. Two, it's a little bit, it's kind of nice, like Chuck said, have everyone kind of corralled into one area where you can find people during the day as things go along. My downside to Orlando is the humidity. There is not enough Gold Bond powder in the world to make Orlando tolerable. It is just terrible when it comes to the humidity. And it's just for someone. I mean, this is someone. I'm from Texas, and I'm from real Texas, not Dallas, like Luke is. I live in the humidity-ridden side of Texas, which means that I'm used to humidity, in Orlando is just terrible. It's like walking through soup.
You
Right.
live in Austin. That is the most California part of the state ever.
But I am from Houston. I am from the Third Coast, sir. I am from the real Texas.
All right.
Not
Which
not
is
Dallas
as
like you.
swampy as Orlando is. So I don't know why
Exactly.
you're
So
beefing on it.
so I'm built for the terrain. I'm built for feed, not for speed. So I'm used to actually adjust these kind of things. And you know what?
Now,
It's
now
just
the other thing to consider, I like Orlando more because of the changing in the time zone. Going forward 1 hour from Texas,
that is
staying
nice.
up staying up super late doesn't hurt as bad the first couple nights. But going to Vegas, I'm like 2 hours behind. So that first night, I am just up a super. By the time I get used to it, I come home and now I'm really screwed up. As someone that doesn't
And
travel much, the time zone makes a huge difference to me.
when everyone assumes that, hey, you're 2 time zones behind us, can you grab a few things before you go to your stuff after the show, right? Everyone tries to slide in those 30-minute to an hour meetings between the show and what you're going to do that because you're 2 time zones behind them. No, I'm good.
I need you guys to understand that my first Infocomm experience went like this. Vegas, I got an infected eye 2 days before it started. So I went on a jog when I got to Vegas. Dumbest thing I could have done. This thing exploded. We're coming right off of the heels of COVID. In my eye, I look like Quasimodo, and I just dripping everywhere throughout the day. I had an emergency room visit in Vegas, $1,000 gone. The lady there didn't help me one iota, and I was seeing some of the most ridiculous people I've ever seen in my entire life. I returned to the trade show with an eye that was not fixed. Nobody wanted to come within a mile of me the entire day, and I don't blame them. So I am dying to get back and have a better experience. I can't wait to get to Orlando next year.
So wait,
Get back for this.
So you're saying the eye was the reason why no one wanted to hang out with you in that Infocomm. What's your excuse now? Because still no one wants to hang out with you. So the eye's fixed.
That and several other
was-
reasons, but
It wasn't that bad.
it was
wasn't
bad.
It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
I got some pictures on my phone that I'm going to send you guys. I think the 2 years it's been has made you guys forget. But nobody, it got to the point where I wasn't even shaking people's hands. I was just like, hey, how's it
Pat,
going?
there's
about 8 feet away.
There's 2 things. There's 2 things we don't forget. Little Jerry in your eye. That's how it rolls. So we didn't forget. It's still there.
I did try to end this podcast 15 minutes ago.
Hey, I booked an hour for this, all right?
It's all good.
I still have 13 minutes in my schedule.
Well, I think if I don't get back to work, Pat's going to murder me.
Yeah, we got some stuff to crank out.
All right, boys, thank you very much for coming on. Cat's Meow, Tuesday night, 8 o'clock in Las Vegas. 9 o'clock in Las Vegas. I guess that gives us more time for dinner. That's awesome. So hope to see everybody there. We'll be discussing AI and how it's going to take over karaoke. There'll be a whole conversation there for that. Pat will be at his fundraiser baseball camp and missing out on karaoke, so we're going to be bummed about that. But hopefully next year you will make it out, Pat.
Have some fun for me, fellas. I know you will.
We're hoping. All right, awesome. Thanks everybody for joining. Thanks everybody for listening.
See you guys.
Adios.
See ya.